Good morning, everyone. This is Rose Jeffrey, Corporate Secretary for Harlem Community Development Corporation. I would like to welcome everyone to the meeting this morning and ask that you please mute your phone and keep it muted unless you're speaking. For the record, before we begin, I'll be taking a roll call of the directors to ensure we have a quorum present. If you're on the line, please say present when you hear your name. Marie Arce.
I'm here.
Michelle Cruz.
I'm here.
Dana Harmongar.
Present.
Arva Rice.
Present.
Damond May.
Present.
Holly Drakeford. Holly Drakeford.
Present.
Dana Mark.
Present.
Rita Foster.
Present.
Yolanda Ford. Please mute your phones. Thank you. Yolanda Ford.
Present.
Eric Sorello.
Present.
Gabrielle Lewenstein.
Good morning, everybody. Present.
Keith Lilly. Dana Reed.
Present.
Assembly Member Robert Rodriguez.
Present. Thank you.
Isabel Brock.
Present.
Keisha Sutton James. Ernestine Bell Temple.
Oh, present.
Deneen Brown.
Present.
Thank you. And staff members, Eunice Jackson.
Present.
Holly Light. Curtis Archer.
Present.
Destiny Burns.
Present.
Robert Jones.
Present.
Thank you very much. We have a quorum. I'll now turn this over to Frida Foster, acting chair for today's meeting. Frida?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Frida Foster, and I'm honored to serve as chair for today's meeting. I now call to order the meeting for the director of the Harlem Community Development Corporation for Friday, April 30th, 2021. Before we get started, I'll ask that everyone please mute your phones until you're ready to speak. Also, I will ask that anyone wishing to speak be sure to state your name before you begin. The public was given until 5:30 p.m. yesterday to submit written comments to the HCDC board at esd.ny.gov email address. And as of today, there were no comments received. The directors have received the written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time during the presentation. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I ask the directors if there are any potential conflict of interest with respect to the agenda items. Please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time, and we will then be sure to recuse you from any discussion or vote regarding the item. Are there any recusals? Okay. Hearing none, it has been noted. Now, Destiny Burns will be presenting the first three items on the agenda. This item is approval of the Harlem CDC's amended weatherization division budget for year 2021-2022 and authorization to take related actions. Destiny, you may begin. Good morning.
Good morning.
The directors are requested to approve an amended budget for Harlem CDC's Weatherization Assistance Program for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. The Weatherization Program reduces energy costs for low-income households by facilitating improvements and upgrades that increase energy efficiency. The program is funded by allocations from the U.S. Departments of Energy and Health and Human Services, administered through the New York State Department of Homes and Community Renewal. At our last meeting on March 23rd, 2021, the directors approved a weatherization budget of $1,311,432. The allocation has since been increased by $82,642 for a total amended budget of $1,394,074. The additional funding will be applied to the outside services and expenses line item, increasing it from $575,981 to $658,623. I recommend that the directors authorize this amendment to enhance our weatherization program's ability to promote the health and safety of low-income Harlem residents.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, are there any comments from the public? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Your name, please?
Robert Rodriguez.
Okay, thank you. May I have a second?
Second from Shauna Hermangoff.
Thank you. Was that a second, Shauna?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the authorization to amend a lease for the Victoria Theater Land Use Improvement and Civic Project and authorization to take related actions. Destiny?
This is a request to authorize Harlem TDC to amend its lease for the Victoria Theater project with the project developer, 233 West 125th Street, Danforth, LLC. The project consists of the redevelopment of the historic Victoria Theater, preserving and restoring elements of the original theater, and creating a 27-story, approximately 385,000 square foot mixed-use facility consisting of a full-service hotel, cultural space, residential units, dining, retail, and parking. On August 3rd, 2020, the directors authorized HCDC to amend the lease to, among other things, extend its expiration date from August 2020 to April 30th, 2021. Under the terms of the lease, HCDC is obligated to convey the completed building to the developer upon satisfaction of certain conveyance conditions, including delivery of certificates of occupancy for all of the components of the project. The current status of the project are as follows. The restoration of the marquee and lobby is substantially complete. The residential component of the project is complete and has obtained a temporary certificate of occupancy. The hotel component is approximately 90% complete, and the cultural unit is approximately 85% complete. The developer has requested additional time to fulfill the lease obligations, including obtaining the approvals and certification required to permit occupancy. ESD staff, on behalf of HCDC, performed a review of the project's construction status and the developer's request to extend the term of the lease to October 31, 2021, and recommends that the directors authorize HCDC to amend the lease by extending its expiration date as requested. The directors are requested to authorize HCDC to amend the lease as described and take related actions.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Your name?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Holly Drakeford, Director. Do they have really any kind of estimate when they will complete this project? Understanding the hospitality industry's been taking a hit, COVID, and all the other things that have been somewhat delaying this. Do we have an end game for this when they will be fully operational?
Well,
Or an
as you know,
estimate?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or an estimate. I mean, I'm not asking for a date specific, but just an idea.
The estimate would be this summer, but based on all the information that we have at our disposal and the information that's provided by our project team and consultants, we anticipate that the project will be completed by the expiration date that we're extending to today.
Okay, so this will be, basically this is the final date and it should be completed.
Yes.
Okay, that's all. I mean, we've had several, but understand there were obstacles in the way.
Okay. Thank you. Are there
Thanks,
any other
Molly.
comments or questions?
Yeah, there are. This is Assemblymember Rodriguez, and I just wanted to say, I appreciate the work that HCDC and, ESD has done in terms of working on the lease. We know that there have been numerous challenges, including coronavirus and the hotel market, and so flexibility has been necessary and been required to be able to revisit, some of the terms that were initially laid out. So I think this finally gets us to that place where the lease, can move ahead. And I think it's expected that, UMES in their role as, community lender, particularly for projects of high profile and long-term investment in the community, would also take the necessary steps to extend their subordinate loan and allow this project the firm footing that it requires, to begin as we, come through the construction and the pandemic.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions from the directors? Any comments from the public? All right, may I have a motion for approval?
Holly Drakeford, I make a motion to approve the change of, the budget.
Janine Brown,
Rodriguez,
seconded.
second. Mhm.
Okay. Rose, did you get that?
Wait, can we get clarification?
I
Are
did.
you?
I have
was-
Janine second and Holly made the move. I have it. Thank you.
Yes.
This
Okay.
is Eunice. I
Mhm.
just wanted to clarify. Holly, are you making a motion on the lease extension or on the letterization? Because you said increase the budget and the.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, the lease extension. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Make
Thank
a
you.
note of that in the minutes, Rose.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is authorization to amend a contract for construction administration services in connection with the Victoria Theater redevelopment project and authorization to take related actions. Destiny.
Okay. This is a request to authorize HCDC to amend its contract for construction administration services with Costo Greenwood Architects, or KGA, in connection with the Victoria Theater project. KGA has been involved in the project since the beginning, initially serving as Apollo's construction management consultant during the design and planning stage. Their involvement was instrumental in ensuring the quality of design elements and the acoustics in the performance spaces of the cultural unit. KGA services continue to be needed to oversee on HCDC's behalf the progress of the project construction, including the build-out and integration of the cultural unit after construction is complete. HCDC's initial engagement with KGA was for a discretionary purchase from an MWBE of $200,000. The contract was amended 2 times. The current contract has a maximum value of $409,000 and an expiration date of July 31, 2021. It's proposed that the contract be amended to increase the value from $409,000 to $569,000 and extend the expiration date from July 31, 2021 to April 30, 2022. The contract provides that the work will be performed on an hourly charge basis at amounts not to exceed agreed upon rates. The directors are requested to make a determination of responsibility with respect to KGA and authorize HCDC to enter into an amendment to the agreement with KGA and extend the contract term and increase the contract value as described and take necessary action.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, are there any comments from the public? All right, I'll have a motion for approval, please.
Motion to approve,
Your name, please.
Robert Rodriguez.
Thank you. Have a
I'll second that. It's Holly Drakeford.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, Eunice Jackson will be presenting the next item on the agenda, the approval of property disposition guidelines, appointment of the contracting officer, and authorization to take related action. Eunice?
Good morning. The directors are asked to readopt property disposition guidelines in the same form as those adopted by the New York State Urban Development Corporation, that is Empire State Development. The Public Authorities Reform Act of 2009 mandates that public benefit corporations such as ESD and its subsidiaries annually prepare and comply with guidelines regarding to the disposition of property. ESD has reviewed the guidelines and found them satisfactory, and we adopted them in March of 2021. The guidelines require the appointment of a contracting officer. ESD reappointed its contracting officer, and that is Mr. Jones, who will be presenting next, who is the Vice President of Contracts Administration. The directors are requested to readopt the property disposition guidelines reviewed and adopted by ESD, and to reappoint as contracting officer ESD's Vice President of Contracts Administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
This is Holly Drakeford. What properties are we talking about?
We're talking about the Victoria Theater, as noted in Ms. Burns' presentation. Ultimately, we will HCDC will convey that the bulk of that project to the developers, assuming they meet all the contractual requirements. And there are a few other properties that HCDC owns.
Right, that's what I was relating to. You got some over by Madison and 120 between 125th and 126th.
Right.
You still have the market there on 125th Street, I believe.
There are I think there are 5 what we informally call the tax credit sites. They're sites that HCDC acquired in the late 80s, early 90s, and those projects were developed as low income and affordable income housing projects with, some of them have some commercial space on the lower floors. And in the near future, HCDC is going to have to make some decisions about those properties because the leases, those properties are generally, at the moment, leased. For simplicity's sake, the ground and the buildings. And the project, the general project plan that approved those projects did contemplate potential sales or co-oping or condoing. I mean, the structure that was outlined back in the 80s was designed primarily to take advantage of housing tax credits, which were new at the time. Those of you who are older may recall that it was Representative Rangel who was instrumental in getting those tax credits added to the U.S. tax code. And the Harlem projects were part of that initial use of those credits. So those properties all we are looking at now, but we will need at some point the authorization to dispose of them, and disposition in terms of the public authorities law is widely interpreted to include not only a sale, but leasing. Is that, Holly, is that fun?
Well, yeah. I mean, it gets a little bit more deeper. If you take the social work group over on Madison, I mean, if you sold that building to them at market value, which you guys do, you don't go below market value, I don't know if they could afford it. It's different times from the 80s to today, how that value of those properties have gone up. But
well, valuation is, I mean, for another meeting, but
that's what I'm just saying. I'm just thinking ahead. Any case, yeah, okay, yeah, she answered my question, and there are other properties that will be involved at a later date.
Right.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion from the directors? Any comments from the public? May I have a motion for approval?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve for the disposal of the properties. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. May I have a second? May I have a second?
I second.
Robert
Denise Brown.
Rodriguez.
Oh, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Any opposed? All right. Next on the agenda, Robert Jones will present the last item for consideration, the adoption of the revised guidelines for use, awarding, monitoring, and reporting of procurement contracts. Robert?
Thank you. Good morning, directors. This is Robert Jones, Vice President of Contract Administration at Empire State Development. This morning, the board is being asked to adopt the revised guidelines for the use, awarding, monitoring, and reporting of procurement contracts as mandated by Section 2879 of the Public Authorities Law. These guidelines were previously adopted in October of 2020 by the HCDC directors. There have been no substantive changes to executive orders and discretion to public authorities in the past year. New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire State Development, staff from the Legal Department, Contracts Administration, and Finance Departments reviewed the guidelines and did incorporate the following changes. Clarified that discretionary purchases for MWBE firms over $250,000 must be approved by the board. When a member of a pre-qualified firm leaves the firm to one that is not on the pre-qualified list, the pre-qualification follows the member. Clarified the role of the procurement director during a bid evaluation and vendor selection, and established a protocol for debriefing unsuccessful bidders post-submission and award. Accordingly, the 2021 guidelines have been revised to incorporate these revisions as well as changes for consistency. On March the 25th, 2021, the ESD board adopted the revised guidelines. which are designed to govern procurements by ESD and its subsidiaries such as HCDC. Approval is sought for the adoption by the HCDC directors of the 2021 guidelines. And I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the directors? All right. Are there any questions or comments from the public? All right. I will entertain a motion for approval. A motion for approval, please.
So moved, Robert Rodriguez.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that. Holly Drakeford.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Is there any additional business? All right. There being no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn, Shauna.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Golf.
Second, Robert
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
everyone. Board. Yes.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
weekend,
you,
everyone.
Frida, everyone. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Yes, you too.
You too. Thank you.